The movie begins at a briefing with President Franklin Roosevelt, who Colonel Steve Trevor tells to create a team of superhumans in response to the invading Nazi army. The Nazis started their conquest of Poland, and it wasn't long after they also took control of most of Europe and Russia. According to sources, the German Chancellor Adolf Hitler has been searching for ancient and magical artifacts since 1933. With the army and power Hitler had amassed, only a team handpicked for their uncanny abilities stood a chance against them. They have recruited Rex Tyler, aka Our Man, a genius scientist who has developed a rare chemical called the Miraclo, which greatly enhances his speed, strength, and reflexes for an hour. Also joining this so-called super team is Dinah Lance, aka the Black Canary, known for her sonic sound abilities, and Jay Garrick, known for his superhuman speed. They even convinced Carter Hall, aka Hawkman, who is said to be an ancient Egyptian with wings. Leading this motley crew of superhumans would be the Amazonian Princess Diana, aka Wonder Woman, and together they form the Justice Society of America. At present, Barry Allen, aka The Flash, takes his girlfriend, Iris West, for a picnic in Metropolis, where Barry hopes he will get to meet Superman. Iris confronts Barry that they have planned on having a romantic time together in the hopes of getting away from work. Their picnic is cut short when a fight breaks down between Superman and Brainiac just across town. Superman is captured when he is outnumbered by Brainiac's drones when the Flash arrives and helps Superman break free. Superman explains to Flash that he grows weaker when in the presence of kryptonite. Flash tried to attack Brainiac when he fired a shot at Superman with a kryptonite bullet. Realizing that Superman would be powerless against it, Flash ran as fast as he could to catch the bullet when he tapped into the Speed Force for the first time. He caught the bullet in midair, but was suddenly sucked into a portal. Dr. Fate guided him through the portal, where Flash finds himself in World War II in a battle between the Nazis and the Justice Society of America. Back in World War II, Wonder Woman confronts the Nazi army head-on and defeats an entire platoon by herself. When Flash suddenly appears before him. Unsure of whose side Flash is on, she captures him and asks Black Canary to watch over him while she tries to help the others. Flash and Black Canary hear distressed cries from afar, so Flash runs over to help the people when he realizes he is out of breath after defeating a few Nazis. Wonder Woman catches him again while the other members of the Justice Society arrive. When Flash tries to explain that he is from the future, they initially do not believe a word he says and decide to interrogate him. Suddenly, a Nazi plane flew over and fired at them. Steve shoots down the Nazi plane, but he is caught off guard by another, and his plane is shot down. Hawkman flew towards the plane to save Steve, but Flash knew then that Hawkman would not reach him in time. He runs off to where the plane will crash, and with the help of Jay Garrick, they manage to land the aircraft and save Steve safely. As they were about to return to their extraction point, Steve convinced the team to stay and help the villagers when he pointed out that he saw another division of the Nazi army marching towards the village. The others of Flash sit this battle out as they fear his actions will change the timeline, so they ask him to return to the extraction point with Steve instead. Flash is amazed at seeing superheroes working together and wonders why he has not heard about the Justice Society in his time. Steve explains that the Justice Society is top secret even within the government. They even had a war correspondent embedded with the team to help spin the stories and keep the team off the front page. Flash asks why they bother keeping it a secret, and Steve responds that although they have unique powers and abilities, the Justice Society is not immortal, and fears that Hitler would have found a way to look for the team's weaknesses. After a successful raid in the village, the team returns to meet with Shakespeare, their war correspondent, who talks with Wonder Woman about how to spin the story this time. Out of the blue, Steve gets on one knee and proposes to Wonder Woman, who rejects his proposal, saying that this isn't the right time. Flash later learns that Steve proposes to Wonder Woman every day, hoping she will finally say yes this time. Back at the base, Wonder Woman is growing impatient as they are far from ending the war after doing this for the last 2 years. With the death toll on the rise, Black Canary suggests they use the Flash in their battles to end this war, once and for all, finally. Hourman and Jay suggest otherwise as they fear that Flash's actions may create a time paradox, and he would not be able to return to his own time. Steve arrives to inform the team that the intel they obtained is a bust, as they cannot crack the code. Fearing that all they did was for nothing, Steve gives the team a new mission. Steve informs them that a man with mystical abilities could help them crack the code on their intel, but he is being held captive in a highly secured castle in Bavaria. Instead of sneaking around, Wonder Woman brazenly comes through the front door with Flash. Hourman and Jay pair up to find the codebreaker when they find themselves cornered. Hourman is unable to help since it's not yet 24 hours, since the last time he used Miraclo. Jay feels a little less powerful ever since Flash showed up. Jay beat the enemy using the new technique Flash showed him when they saved Steve. Meanwhile, Black Canary and Hawkman dig through the Nazis' stuff for artifacts when Canary doubts her decision to join the team. Given that she has done everything to fight, she fears the public will not even remember her. Hawkman comforts her by saying everything will return to how it was once the war ends. Shakespeare checks through the cellars for survivors when he comes across a prisoner who gives him a package. While still trying to make sense of what the package was for, a Nazi soldier guns him down. Wonder Woman, Flash, and Steve arrive to find Shakespeare is still alive and looks to be bulletproof, given the bullets bounced off him. Shakespeare says his name is Clark Kent, who Flash recognizes as Superman. Flash asks him about his parents, and Clark explains that his adoptive parents, Jonathan and Martha Kent, died in an accident when he was 3 years old and was sent to an orphanage. Clark walks with the prisoner and escorts him back to safety. After hearing a different background of the Clark Kent he knows, Flash realizes that he is not in the past, but in an alternate universe. He seeks out Jay, hoping that he will figure out a way to help him return to his world. Meanwhile, the others find a chained man Hawkman recognizes as Dr. Fate, who appears to be on the brink of insanity. He hands out the code to Dr. Fate, who shows them the Bermuda Triangle coordinates. Dr. Fate confirms that Flash can return to his world. But before doing that, he still has a task that he needs to complete and a lesson to be learned. A bright light covered Dr. Fate, and he disappeared in front of their eyes. The team heads out to sea in a submarine to the Bermuda Triangle, where the coordinates are pointing. They later discover they are not alone, as Nazi ships are above them. The Nazis have found them and released depth charges at the submarine, where they are forced to dive deeper into the trench. After getting hit by the depth chargers, the submarine lost its engine and could not maneuver through the water mines. Flash managed to power up the subs, but they are a sitting target with the depth charges still out there. Wonder Woman decides to head out to sea and deal with the depth chargers, where she throws them at the Nazi ships above them. As the second batch of depth chargers was released, Atlanteans helped them and guided them toward the nearest outpost. They later meet with the King's advisor, who guides them to meet Arthur, aka Aquaman, the King of Atlantis. Wonder Woman pleads for his help in the war against the Nazis when Aquaman's advisor whispers in his ear, Aquaman assures them that they have something that may prove helpful in their fight when they were just led into a trap. It turns out that the code was just a setup by the Nazis to trap them inside a magical barrier strong enough to hold even the Amazonian princess. Aquaman is revealed to have been brainwashed by the advisor who is in cahoots with the Nazis. Trying to break free from the barrier, Flash feels helpless as he has felt powerless since he came to this universe. Jay speculates that since they are drawing simultaneously from the Speed Force, a sort of power source, they cannot fully utilize their powers simultaneously. He suggests that if they can combine their powers, they may be able to fully use the Speed Force by vibrating their bodies strong enough that they can pass through walls. Flash starts shaking on the floor while Jay helps him, and it isn't long enough before he does pass through it. After taking out the guards, Flash returns to the team and frees them. Flash informs them that the combined forces of the Nazis and the Atlanteans are launching a surprise attack on Manhattan, the eastern seaboard of the United States. He also informs them that Aquaman is headed off to the trench to free something that is caged. Wonder Woman and the Flash pursue Aquaman to stop him from unleashing whatever creatures he has planned on using, while the rest of the Justice Society go after the submarine and cut off the invading army from reaching the city. Wonder Woman and the Flash catch up to Aquaman, who has just opened the door to the cage. Flash takes on Aquaman while Wonder Woman tries to take out the advisor. When she tried to pry his ship open, the advisor grabbed Wonder Woman and mind-controlled her. Aquaman briefly regains consciousness when a controlled Wonder Woman attacks him out of nowhere. He sends Wonder Woman flying with a punch, and the advisor regains control of Aquaman and escapes with the sea creatures he freed from the cage. Meanwhile, Steve and the others help fight off the Atlanteans attacking the people. Everything was under control when Aquaman and his trench creatures arrived. Black Canary and Hawkman confront the giant octopus-like creature while Jay and Hourman handle the crab and flying creatures. Canary tries to push the octopus-like creature when she suddenly loses control of her powers and falls from a great height. Hawkman grabs and saves her from falling but is attacked from behind by the flying creature. Hawkman grabs Canary and cushions their fall as they fall, and he ultimately dies from his wounds. Meanwhile, Jay managed to capture some Atlantean bombs and throw them at the crab's mouth, which exploded into pieces. Wonder Woman and the Flash arrive, and she sends Aquaman flying with a punch while Flash tries to handle the octopus-like creature. Furious at Hawkman's death, Black Canary confronts the flying creature when she sends out a sonic sound that is strong enough to shatter the creature's flesh and bones. Hourman gets injured, and Steve saves him when he sees Aquaman pinned Wonder Woman to the ground. He managed to buy her time just enough to regain her bearings. She brushed off Aquaman and grabbed the trident from him. As he tries to retrieve the trident, Wonder Woman breaks it in half, and Aquaman breaks free from mind control. He sees the aftermath of what he and his men have done and feels guilty that he retreated to the seas. When they thought all the fighting was over, Steve saw a squadron of Nazi bombers heading their way. The advisor shows up and stabs Steve with the broken half of the trident. Flash pushes the advisor to the side and knocks him out. He later heads out to the others, worried about what to do with the squadron when they see planes getting destroyed. It turns out that Clark Kent, aka Superman, has arrived to join their fight. He has single-handedly taken out the entire squadron of Nazi bombers and meets with the group. Hourman finds Steve on the verge of death, and Wonder Woman finally accepts his proposal just before he dies. With the advisor missing, the Justice Society will continue with the search while Jay helps Flash return to his world using the Speed Force's combined powers. Before he leaves, Wonder Woman gives him Steve's ring and shares the hard-taught lesson she learned when Steve died. Flash returns to his world just before he catches the bullet, and he slings it back to Brainiac. Flash talks to Superman to make a league of superheroes to help each other keep the peace, to which Superman agrees. Meanwhile, Flash returns to Iris, where he tells him about his trip to a different world before he proposes to her, which she accepts. The end. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.